Today we're going to talk about the philosophy that all thoughts become things. As well, this past week was the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and we're going to benefit from sending some good thoughts to the earth during our time together. For there is no line where we end and the earth begins. We are consubstantial with one another, meaning of the same substance. If you're enjoying these experiences, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you'd like family educational resources, to make a donation, my contact information, or for more about the Unitarian Universalist congregations in Fitchburg and Lancaster, Massachusetts, of which I'm the minister, make a note of the information at the end of this program. I look forward to hearing from you. For now, find a comfortable position, put all distractions away, and ease yourself into this little contemplative space we've created for ourselves. This time is for you.
Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon, who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and giving way to night. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life, and her mother's, and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember, the dance language is, life is this. Remember.
I light this candle of sorrow for those who have lost loved ones recently and could not be by their side, and who must hold on to their grief in limbo until such time as we can gather again to mourn them properly. Our hearts are with you. I light this candle of honor for the 50th anniversary of Earth Day and for its creator, Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson. The first events in 1970 were organized nationally by a handful of young activists and local volunteers. Some viewed the festivities as bad for business or a distraction from other issues. Yet ultimately, support for Earth Day exceeded expectations and helped grow the environmental movement. By the end of 1970, the Nixon administration had established the Environmental Protection Agency and passed the Clean Air Act. May this movement to preserve our planet continue to grow and thrive. Blessed be. I light this candle of concern for those who are protesting against the protective measures we all need to flatten the curve of this pandemic. May peace enter their hearts and love for their neighbors take root in them. May they be at ease from their concerns. Their ease shall mean our own. This candle of both joy and concern is lit in recognition of our Muslim brothers and sisters who have begun their holy month of Ramadan, yet must be apart from their mosques and congregations at this time. We wish them all Ramadan Mubarak and pray for their safety as they fast and perform their salah. This week's candle of special joy is for the Washed Ashore Project based in Bandon, Oregon. Founded in 2010 by Angela Hazeltine Pozzi, an artist and educator for over 30 years, this unique nonprofit organization has built over 66 giant sculptures from over 17 tons of ocean garbage. The exhibits have appeared at numerous aquatic venues and aquariums throughout the U.S., turning refuse into both art as well as education, reminding us in yet another beautiful way that the earth is an extension of us all. Blessed be. I light this final candle for all the joys and concerns which remain in our hearts but are unspoken. All shall be well.
All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.
The earth has many heroes, and we're going to share a few of them with you right now. We are very blessed to have a number of people throughout human history who have cared so much about our planet that they have dedicated their lives to it. The first is St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of ecology. And in a quote here attributed to him, he said, "A cat purring on your lap is more healing than any drug in the world, as the vibrations you are receiving are of pure love and contentment." The next is a man by the name of John Muir, a naturalist and conservationist. John Muir is quoted to have said, "When we tug at a single thing in nature, we find it attached to the rest of the world." And Rachel Carson, an author and conservationist. Rachel Carson said, "If I had influence with the good fairy, I would ask that her gift to each child be a sense of wonder so indestructible that it would last throughout life." And next, we have Mr. Gaylord Nelson, the founder of Earth Day. Who said, "We must recognize that we're all part of a web of life around the world. Anytime you extinguish a species, the consequences are serious." And Wangari Maathai, the 2004 Nobel Peace Prize winner and founder of the Greenbelt movement. We are called to assist the earth to heal her wounds and in the process heal our own. Indeed, to embrace the whole creation in all its diversity, beauty, and wonder. And here we have Quatsinas, a Canadian activist and conservationist. He said, "We must protect the forests for our children, grandchildren, and children yet to be born. We must protect the forests for those who can't speak for themselves, such as the birds, animals, fish, and trees." And Joel Sartore, a conservation photographer and founder of the Photo Arc. It is folly to think we can destroy one species and ecosystem after another and not affect humanity. When we save species, we're actually saving ourselves. And Greta Thunberg, Swedish environmental activist. I've learned you are never too small to make a difference. And finally, the Greek mythological figure Atlas, who holds up our world. Earth Day is for us all.
Heroes of the earth, we thank you for your service. We thank you for your courage in the face of those who would go on as before. Heroes of the earth, your wisdom is now with us. Grant to us in this dire hour a measure of your peace. Heroes of the earth, we take on us your struggle. For this too shall pass, and life shall move on. Hopefully, mercifully, sacredly, on.
Take a deep breath. Make yourself even more comfortable and relax. Close your eyes if you will, and picture a small ball of light, and breathe. As your breath rises and falls, picture the ball of light expanding and contracting with your breath. Picture a sound beginning to emanate from it. A warm, comforting sound, as familiar as a heartbeat, but smooth like the gentle gonging of a bell. Take a moment now to allow this sound and light to affect you. Let the glowing ball inch closer toward you, drawn to you. The light becoming brighter and the sound becoming louder as it approaches. You can feel the resonance in your chest and thighs like a sound speaker volume on 10. The light is warming your cheeks and forehead. Suddenly it is within you. The light blends in seamlessly with your being, and you become infused with it. You do not know where the light ends and you begin. You are now one. Breathe deeply and return.
My daughter's favorite expression is thoughts become things. It's a quippy, simplified way of saying that thought precedes all action, but in ways which hint that more is occurring than the typical cause and effect scenario as we understand it. It has a bit of mysticism to it. In the most basic and understandable way, first we think of something before we can do it. We mull it over in our heads, we contemplate, we envision. Typically, this envisioning process helps us work out a few of the kinks before we more fully invest in our ideas. A lot of times we think about things first so that we can get used to the idea of them. Something I often find myself both talking and writing about is the physics of prayer. I'm always careful, though, when using words like prayer because people have very strong feelings about the word. People feel conclusively that they know what it means to pray. Depending on your faith, or lack of it, you have a preconceived idea about the nature of prayer. But I'm asking you to go deeper here. I'm asking you to go beyond the traditions and the words you've been taught to say and the stereotypes and the preconceived ideas about what's occurring when we quote-unquote pray. I think it would be unfair to say that the prayer style of one religion works better than the prayer style of another. It would be unwise and unhumble to make assumptions about what God is listening to or why. It would be equally arrogant to say that God speaks English but not Spanish, and therefore English is somehow superior as regards prayer. If God listens to us in all languages, as we would imagine, should God exist or listen at all, then how can it not be listening to us in all forms of prayer? Even making a wish on a candle of your birthday cake. So, if thoughts really do become things, what's occurring within the physics of those thoughts? What are we transmitting, and when are we transmitting it? To whom are we transmitting it? The answer to what are we transmitting is everything we're thinking and doing. When are we transmitting it? All the time. In prayer, out of prayer, it's all prayer. To whom are we transmitting it? Your guess is as good as mine, as it should be. Lavender's favorite expression doesn't pass any judgments on the quality of our thoughts or the things which result from them. The axiom of thoughts become things merely claims that A plus B equals C. Its own faith is that all consequences are natural, logical, and understandable. That doesn't mean we always like the consequences of our thoughts, but we must own them if we wish to evolve, if we wish to hone our skills at the thoughts we're having. But what does a completely peaceful person even look like? Do they get bothered by things? Probably. But how much? What would your day look like if someone stood over you right now with a magic wand and waved it 3 times and said the magic words, and if you know what they are, please do tell the rest of us, and poof, you suddenly became a fully peaceful person? If suddenly all your ability to derive angst from a situation melted away, how would you then feel? What would be different about your day now? How would you respond to someone cutting you off in traffic? How would you handle an argument with your spouse? Or might the argument never even occur in the first place? When your thoughts shift toward peace and benevolence, what might shift in your world? What might change about the field which surrounds you and the nature of the energy inside it? We do have fields around us, electromagnetic spheres which naturally occur as a result of the polarity in our bodies. It's not metaphysics, it's science. But that's generally where our understanding ends. We can only hypothesize about what's occurring in our fields based on the study of field theory, which is still in its relative infancy. But we can infer a few things. We can infer there's information in our field. We can imagine that our thoughts impact the nature of that information. We know
that when we're having a bad day, it seems to continue relentlessly in an endless stream of bumped elbows and flat tires, adding insults to our injuries. Like a train going off the tracks, one car at a time, we feel powerless to stop it. I mean, it's not that you had a thought, gee, I'd really love to have a bad day today. Maintaining inner peace prevents you from concluding, after you've hit your not-so-funny bone just getting out of bed, that now your entire day is going to look like this. It's all about the positive thought you're choosing when it would be perfectly natural to have a negative one.
Look, I don't understand the physics of field theory or prayer. That is way above my pay grade as a minister. And you don't want me to conclude it on your behalf either. You are entitled to your own opinion about that. But I don't have to understand how an airplane works in order to visit my friends. I tend to give a piece of advice when people tell me they're having a really bad day. I suggest to them that they spend 5 minutes thinking about 3 things which make them feel grateful. Just pick 3 things and set the timer on your phone if you must, and ruminate on what it is about which you feel such gladness for them. Consider their details and their blessings. See if you can think of things you hadn't considered before. Deliberately run out of fingers and toes in counting them, and then resume your day. See if it alters the kind of experience you have from that point. It just might. It works for me. Based on the teachings of religious and spiritual traditions throughout human history, we might surmise that doing something like this, using the notion that thoughts genuinely do become things, has at least the ability to alter our perception of a day. Our faith may even give us the option of considering that we may project a positive energy forward from us, altering the things which might have otherwise caused us harm. What do you believe? Great web of life which binds us all, thank you for this earth. Thank you for the parts of it which have made our bodies and brains and hearts and fingers and feet. Thank you for the abundance of this planet and the secret wisdom into which we must now tap to discover the ways and means by which we may best share this abundance with all. Thank you for the undiscovered cures of all diseases, sitting somewhere in a jungle, in a plant, the sap rising up from the earth, in a seed, in a flower, in a rock, in the water. Speak to us in the wind. Come to us in our dreams. Let the wisdom of Gaia envelop us all, and give both us and her
peace. Amen.
You'll join us for next week's service on making an earthquake of your presence. It's about taking what makes you, you, and transforming it into something miraculous for the entire world, or just your own little circle. It's up to all of us to be as impactful as we can in the most loving and benevolent ways possible. In the meantime, before we spend these final moments relaxing through the postlude, I hope you have a week filled with grace. I hope that courage finds you, and hope. Remember to say thank you to the planet. And if you'd like to go even deeper with your relationship with the earth, have a look at our 2020 Earth Day meditation on our YouTube channel. Until next time, be exceedingly well.